The 20th Annual Scientific Conference, organized by National Association of Pharmacists in Academia, NAPA, at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile Ife, titled Pharmacy Education, Research and Practice, Revisiting the Basic. The national chairman of NAPA, Dr. Ezekiel Akikomin, while addressing the dignitaries that attended the event, commended everyone that present at the occasion for their contributions towards the success of the conference.
Distinguished colleagues and audience, I count it a great and unique privilege to welcome you all to the 28th Scientific Conference of our association, NAPA. First of all, I give all glory to God, the sustainer of all life and the giver of great gifts. We thank the Almighty that despite all challenges for the present time, we are able to have this epoch-making event. I must quickly use this opportunity again to welcome all our guests, speakers, participants, and especially all members of this noble association who are participating in this conference from all the corners of the country and throughout the globe. Distinguished colleagues, it was about a year ago that you gave us the great mandate to serve. On behalf of the National Executive Council, permit me to express our appreciation to you for the confidence you have in us in giving us this opportunity. It is a privilege which we do not and will never take for granted. And thank you also for backing up to the mandate with your continual support. I salute your courage, commitment, and camaraderie. We have a great team, and we definitely reach our goal. It is in view of the present reality of our time that we are choosing the theme of this conference to be pharmacy, education, research, and practice, revisiting the basics. We feel that despite the increasing complexities of our world, the solution to our increasing challenges can only come through simplicity and a return to the basics. As you have seen, the opening ceremony of this conference is chaired by none other than someone that has been an ambassador for this profession, a teacher of teachers who must have taught all the pharmacists you see in this hall, either directly or remotely. If you are not a child, you are either a grandchild or great-grandchild or this man of God. I am sure the great-grandchildren are even already here. That is in person of Emeritus Professor Festus Adio Okoboni, FPS. Thank you, sir, for allowing us to trouble you and bringing you out of your well-deserved rest to chair this occasion. Our association goes to our chief host, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Adebayo Simeon Panore, who is ably represented here. It was over 30 years ago, at the inception of this association, that the university fully hosted this conference. Indeed, our Vice Chancellor is the bringer of good tidings. We must put on record that when we informed the Vice Chancellor of this program, he joyfully accepted it and promised to give us all the support. And that is exactly what he has done.
The Dean Faculty of Pharmacists, Professor M.O. Afolabi, highlighted the importance of this conference.
The conference is apt. As our chairman Abraham said, pharmacy education, research and practice, revisiting the basics. Pharmacy is two-pronged. It's a science and it's also a practice. You can go on and on to delve into it. And the various issues we'll be addressing at this conference will actually do justice to the theme of the conference. It's important we revisit the basics, the fundamentals, and I feel by looking at such things, that will guide us into moving on to a higher level in pharmacy profession. I also want to appreciate the tireless efforts of the ones I've called my foot soldiers, the LOC members, for taking it upon themselves. Even while being famished, yet they decided to go ahead with little provision. May I tell everybody here, there are certain lapses we might have noticed, some of which have been pointed to us, maybe in terms of accommodation or in terms of lateness in starting. I take responsibility to all the steps. We are learning, and I know my young ones are also learning. So we appreciate you sincerely. And for those of us that are coming in to this great event for the first time, I give you a double welcome, and I encourage you move around to see the beautiful scenery of Obafemi Awolowo University. I wish us a wonderful celebration.
The Vice Chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor Adebayo Simeon Banire, heavily represented by Professor Suwande, applauded NAPA for organizing such a beautiful and intellectual program.
In academia, and in particularly he recognized the contribution of the Faculty of Pharmacy of the Obafemi Awolowo University to the greatness that the Obafemi Awolowo is known for. So I think you need to appreciate yourself for that. Talking about the theme of your conference, Professor Afolabi has mentioned the reason why sometimes we need to go back to the basics. One would think that probably there is an identified defect in what is ongoing. That's why you chose the topic. But I beg to disagree. Even that we live in a technologically driven world, even technology itself is founded on certain basic principles that make it work. And if those principles are not followed, then the end result is unlikely to be as desired. The Vice Chancellor will want to wish you a fruitful deliberation and is eagerly awaiting your recommendations and suggestions, which definitely will be in line with his own objective of moving this great university to a higher pedestal than it is currently. Like I said, Obafemi Awolowo will always be first, while others will follow. And of course, we hope that your deliberation and the changes that you are going to formulate coming out of this conference will be to the benefit of all mankind and then to the benefit of your trainees who are the future of your profession. On this note, the Vice Chancellor welcomes each and every one of you to this very peaceful city. And to those of you who are still wondering why this university is called the most beautiful campus in Africa, there is an opportunity for you to explore. When you go around, you will understand why. And we also want to invite you to go to our Natural History Museum, which is, and for those who wants to go outside the campus, the Ife Museum is there, and you can as well pay a courtesy visit on the Oni of Ife.
The chairman of the occasion, Professor Festus Ogumbono, urged the lecturers and researchers to collaborate and learn from one another for the growth and development of the country.
I thought the education to just mention something that's important for us as I call it production pharmacists. Because in fact in production, we take in raw material who don't know anything about pharmacy, and at the end of the day, we now make them men and women of honor with knowledge and skills to practice the profession. But also, as for all the certificate is awarded with learning and character. And in what profession can you instill great character except in the pharmacy profession? Because you need this to sustain you throughout life. If you learn a pharmacy profession and you don't have character, you're going to make a mess of it. It's important at any stage to remember that you are in the production of people who have to be made and given honor throughout their life. And with this in mind, it means that you not only interact with them to teach them new skills, to teach them new knowledge, but also to show them example of how to love themselves, how to love their neighbors, how to love their patients. That they're not just to just know about God, but that to know how to take care of their patients. And it's only when they have love, zoom out of them, when they have love, that they can have this kind of passion. And it's only you who can build that into them. As you said, quality is built into our product. You can't put it after. So, in the process of teaching them to become men and women of honor, that we instill these characters in them. So, I hope that at the end of this conference, with all the interactions, you will emerge better teachers in pharmacy, better researchers in pharmacy. I want to appreciate the executive for choosing this theme and choosing men, our colleagues, our eminent scholars, right from the keynote speaker,
Nigerian pharmacists in academia. I want to especially recognize our president, sir, pharmacist Professor Cyril O. Osipo. I try not to make the mistake of pronouncing Okuyi. Fellow of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. Our keynote speaker and the Vice Chancellor of Christian University, Chrisland University, Professor Peace Babalola. The former Chairman Board of Fellows, former Secretary General of the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists, and the current Provost, College of Pharmacy, at the Babalola University. I cannot afford to make that mistake. Our own Professor Femi Oyewo, Umepa. I've also had the opportunity of working closely with many great professors here. And I pay due respect to all. The members of NAPA, I bring warm felicitations from the management and staff of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, to the national chairman, the executives, and the entire members of NAPA on this auspicious occasion of the 20th Scientific Conference of the Association. It gives me a great pleasure to be part of these proceedings today in my capacity as registrar, PCN, as it is the first time that I will be opportune to participate in NAPA organized program since my assumption of office as registrar. It is a known fact that members of NAPA are critical stakeholders in the healthcare sector. This is rightly so because members of NAPA tend the responsibility to educate, train, and develop, as well as assess pharmacy students, and pharmacists who, of course, might have graduated and pursued their postgraduate programs, as well as other healthcare professions, as well as conduct research through their expertise. These as positioned members of the association as gateway for competencies and skill development, as well as exploratory research and development for the progress and development of the nation. The theme for the conference, Pharmacy Education, Research and Practice, Revisiting the Basics, is also apt. Over time, pharmacy research and practice have traveled on divergent paths, and current events in the healthcare space demands that these divergent paths should be collapsed into one path so that the outcomes of research will appropriately fit the practice components of the profession. I have no doubt that the gathering of resource persons at this conference will do justice to this theme. On the part of PCA, we will always look forward to evidence-based innovations that will guide the formulation of policies as well as regulations. We are also open to collaborative research, especially in those areas that are directly linked with our core mandate. I want to inform us that sometimes in 2019 we had to undertake a research into the FPGOP to see how well that program is running, and the outcome was quite interesting. We discovered that not all graduates from all the countries have the same level of skills and competencies. You see some countries where their graduates are good in clinical pharmacy, some are better in industrial. And there is need for us, if they must practice in this our own environment, to be able to have a blend in terms of mix of all the competencies and skills. These are the kind of things we look forward to doing with the academy, so that we can improve on the output of regulation.
Professor Buda, I appreciate you, sir. Executives of NAPA, distinguished pharmacists here present, members of PSN and Council, ladies and gentlemen, we're asked to retain time. And I learned this from my teachers that when you ask a professor to talk, you give him 10 minutes and they take 1 hour. I don't intend taking the keynote address speaker's opportunity to educate us, but I want to say that I look forward as your president to working with NAPA in achieving collective goals for defending the cause of pharmacy profession. I'm particularly happy that our registrar have said that they will make sure that they work closely so that it will be properly remunerated. I know it's not easy, but it's certain that if we are able to play our roles properly, we must have a good grasp of the basics of the profession in all our ramifications. Those of us in academia must be leading in the forefront, and we must know that we are teachers at the same time researchers and develop our policy. Our calling and industry exists to set pharmacy and produce for pharmacy professionals that are capable, not just trustworthy, with the right competencies and skills. In doing this assignment, we must bring together all it takes to be able to let people know who the pharmacist is. When I chatted with our Amazon, Dr. Terry Awoshika, one of the things he told me is that we must have that responsibility to tell the Nigerian public who the pharmacist is. And in doing so, they will begin to appreciate your work. Through the theme of this conference and our plenary session, I believe that we'll be able to hear from distinguished personalities and be able to meet our thoughts to the right goals concerning this particular conference. I must say that we all know, of course, that it's a trying time for pharmacists in academia. and the best education system, because it's not easy to tell somebody who I don't have breakfast to come and discuss something meaningful. So I learned one thing, that if you are not eating, you shouldn't come into the laboratory to do your pharmaceutics work. So I want to believe as after this meeting, and we are working closely with relevant authorities, that we work with all stakeholders in the country to ensure that the problem we are in are currently resolved as quickly as possible for the benefit of all. I want to congratulate our national chairman, the technical group that I belong, and NEC and Council and all members of NAPA on the ability to bring together this conference despite the prevailing challenging circumstances. I look forward to seeing you all in Jos for the TSN conference, where we'll be able to deliberate more on some of these interesting things for the benefit of humanity. Kindly permit me to conclude this short address, a brief one, by wishing you all the best experiences in this conference and a safe journey back to your different destinations when the conference is concluded. We used to receive lectures here, follow the lectures here, and I entered, yeah, this is great different. Great different will always come up with something innovative. I hope you will take time out, not just for the conference, but to look around Ife. Because there's only one great event. Any other one is a fantasy. Long live PSN, long live Napa. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.
The keynote speaker, Professor Peace Babalola, in her speech appealed to pharmacists to adopt new innovation in their research work.
And so if general studies is changing, then we too should be what? Should be changing. They're making some courses mandatory. So they're changing. Change is a constant. That's what, in a lot of all this is didactic. Practical classes are not designed to be problem solving, even at higher levels. Sometimes we're using the same practicals we did 40 years ago, we're still using them now. Life is no longer like that. Tests of knowledge are only through test exams and all that. And many times, when you read the questions, you just must cry, you will just get it. I've been trying so hard to mentor my lecturers to teach the problem-solving manner and set questions in that manner. So I go through the questions and all that. All selective focus, they call it palming. Somebody can teach you everything. Say, I don't like that lecturer, so I'm not going to read his part. I read only cardiovascular, I read only respiratory. And we get first class, and we pass. So we don't need to set questions like that. We don't need to teach like that. Life is about solving problems. Professor Okunono talked about love, about character. It's about looking for problems and solving them. So those are the basic science we talk about. We should teach them differently. Current departments we have, yes, we have Faculty of Pharmacy, we have Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Of course, I prefer the Faculty of Pharmacy. Any day, any time. I know we do sciences there, but we are training professionals, isn't it? We are training pharmacists. So these are the core departments we have, cutting across most of them. Some people say pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry. To me, same. Then pharmaceutics and microbiology and so on and so on. These are the normal in Nigeria for us. In most institutions abroad, it's not like this. I'm not saying we should copy them, but this is what we have. In current status of pharmacy graduates, and on this curricula, there's of course mass migration. Don't be deceived. Mass migration of our graduates, they're not really going there to practice. Go and check it. I mean, I write a lot of referee letters. When you check it, they are going there to do public health. They're going there to, most times, public health. Most times. I was just chatting one up now. It's public health. And if they don't get public health, then they can just do the pharmaceutical science, maybe pharmachem or pharmacology or things like that. But most times that's what they do. They are disgruntled. The lack of interprofessional education affects them. Untapped involvement of pharmacists in public health programs, chaotic problems. These are all the problems we highlight, even at our PSN levels. We just did a summit recently. All the problems, I always say we know all the problems in our profession. We want to start solving them. You know, this is called from a paper. Now, there needs to be a connection between classroom theory and the real world. It's also a paper. These are people proffering solutions. And this is published here by FIP. It's a good paper. And this was a study with some students, pharmacy students. We just put a few highlights. Negative attitudes and behaviors of some older pharmacists towards younger ones. In this case, the person said, oh, keep what you learned in the university. When you come here, it is different. You know what I mean? And the person goes, does it mean all the 4 or 5 years I spent in the university is useless? You know, experiences of difficulties and challenges in implementing pharmacy care. This person said, I only just said, works in a community pharmacy, is only selling from go to some of the busy pharmacies.
Pharmacy, we never saw the glorious PSN, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. As men of honor, we join hands for pharmacy. Pharmacists, we are there. Drug making, we are there. Dispensing, we are there. Retailing, we are there. Wholesaling, we are there. Pharmacy, we are there. Drug advice, we are there. Wholesaling, we are there.
The awards were given to some scholars for their tremendous contribution towards the development of Napa and country at large.
Pharmacy.